Alright guys, how we doing? I'm going to try and get through this video as best as I possibly can. I've tried to shoot it 4 or 5 times and I just lose track, I lose focus and I start waffling on and waffling on. Look, the title of this video, one drink led me to a 5-month relapse, and you know, that's no word of a lie. One drink. I had one fucking drink of Bailey's. I don't even drink Bailey's, it's all that was in the house. And I was coming up to my 30 days of sobriety, my 30 days of counting my calories, my 30 days of just living as, you know, probably the healthiest lifestyle I'd lived in years. And I went into straight self-sabotage mode. Did I believe that one drink of Bailey's would lead me to a 5-month relapse? No, I didn't. I only had 2 standard drinks that first night, and then I went to 4 standard drinks the next night, and then I went and bought my own bottle of Bailey's, and I don't even drink it. It's like, that's how fast it can escalate. And where it's led me is to, you know, end up drinking, back on my brown spirits, back on my whiskey, buying, you know, a litre bottle every 2 or 3 days. And here we are, 4.5 months later. It is Sunday, June the 16th. I've just finished a shift at work, and there is only one word to describe. There's only one way to describe, 2 words, one way to describe a shift like that. A Sunday shift, whilst the AFL is on, NRL's on, basketball's on, everything's on. Fucking hectic. And it's these shifts that the thought of having a drink at the end of it just seems so appealing, and it's the only way that I've gotten through a lot of these shifts recently, is the thought of having a drink at the end of it. But not just one drink, 10 drinks or 15 drinks. Because when I start, I don't want to stop, and I know that about myself. I wholeheartedly know that, look, whether I'm an alcoholic or not, whether that's a fucking made up word or not, whether I have an addiction to alcohol or not, whether alcohol addiction is a disease or not, it doesn't matter. My personal relationship with alcohol and the way that it hits my brain, the way that it makes me feel, means that, and when I have 1, I want 10. When I have 10, I don't want to stop, and it eventually gets to 12 and 13 and 15. And when you're getting upwards of 20 standard drinks in a single period, you're going to feel it the next day. It doesn't matter how fucking seasoned you are. So, you know, I'm proud of myself to have gotten through a shift like that, to have stayed strong, somehow, some way, grasped, you know, some hope and some positivity. And where that's led me is to finish my shift. It's 5 o'clock in the evening. I've eaten today, which is one good thing. That's one thing that does take away the cravings. But, you know, I'd be lying if I said that having put that video out yesterday, talking about my next attempt at sobriety, if I did not release that video, I would not be sober right now. I would have gone and had a drink. And that, I'm not, you know, look, the pull of alcohol when you've drunk it pretty much every single day for the last 4.5 months, the pull of that is so strong, and the habit, the habits that you're in are so strong that I don't know how, I don't know what the magic pill is, I don't know what the solution is. Each and every person is going to be different, but you've got to find motivation just to get through that first day from somewhere. And I've found my motivation from putting myself out there on YouTube and being accountable. That is where I've found that motivation that I've needed. So that has, you know, led me to stick to my guns, not drink today. I put up that video, and the first few comments that came through are all about, you know, not having that last drink. Like, here he goes again, you know, he's relapsed over and over again, he's having a last drink, he's not going to stick to it. And hey, I woke up this morning and I didn't know if I was going to stick to it. But as the days goes on, and as my conviction grows, and as my hangover symptoms fade, because, you know, the first thing I want to do in the morning when I'm feeling like shit is just have another drink. And it's just so easy to do that, but fuck. You have 1 and it turns to 2, turns to 5, turns to 10, and then 2 hours into the day, it's not even lunchtime and I'm already half a bottle of whiskey down. It's like, fuck me. No, not today. Not today. And not tomorrow. And not the next day. But I'm not gonna do what I've done before and try and convince myself I'm never going to drink again. That is not it's not the way that it works for me. You know, and instantly when I say something like that, it just turns me off, it worries me, it gives me anxiety. So the only thing I'm going to say to myself today and tomorrow and the next day is look, I'm not drinking today. For these 24 hours until I put from the time I wake up to the time I put my head down on my pillow, I'm not having a drink. Just today. That's all I can focus on. That's all I need to focus on. And as the days turn into weeks and hopefully turn into months, then we'll see how we go. We'll see what my mindset's like. But for today, honestly, all I needed to do was get through that fucking shift. I got through it. I've had something to eat. I've put my video out. I've put my fucking heart on my sleeve once again, which is something that's pretty difficult sometimes when the thought of people commenting on it and judging me and you know, giving their opinions, good or bad or ugly. It's daunting, you know, and I actually haven't been able to look at any of the comments yet, but the only thing I have looked at is the like to dislike ratio, and it's very, very good, very positive, over 99% like to dislike. So that means that my message, whatever I did say, hasn't, you know, turned anyone away, although I do believe it has got people thinking, you know, he's saying the same old thing, having his last drink, you know, how ridiculous is that? You should pour it down the sink. Well, I didn't. I went and had my last drink, but it wasn't one last drink, it was 15 standard drinks. I had 15 standard drinks yesterday. That's a pretty standard night for me. Got to bed at about 12 o'clock midnight, got up at 7:30, started my shift at 8, finished at 4, and here we are, it's about 5 in the evening. I'm going to go and buy something for dinner, and I'm going to watch a game of rugby league, a replay, and hopefully put my head down on the pillow tonight by about 9 o'clock at the latest, so I can wake up tomorrow morning and you know, give this next week of work a red hot crack, because as of right now I've just finished my first week working 75 hours. I did one like a couple months back, but I wasn't making videos around that time, so you guys wouldn't have known that. But that was a bit of a taste. That was to test my capacity. That was to test, you know, whether I was actually capable of working this much, basically working 2 full-time jobs. And I got through it. I was drinking, of course, but I knew that I could do it. And so I've set myself up to work 75 hours a week, every single week, for the next 3 months at least. So I can qualify for a home loan and provide my children a stable roof over their heads for the next 10, 15 years, if they so need it, and if Miffy wants to live in the same house for 10 or 15 years. So that's where I'm at, that's what I'm doing, and it all starts today with 24 hours of sobriety. So I'm proud. The bottle stores are open till 9, all right, so nothing is guaranteed, but as of this point, I don't think I'll be going there. I've just waffled on for 10 minutes. This is the point where I'm like, do I start again? Do I not? No, I'm not going to start again. It's a beautiful day, beautiful blue sky, and I'm enjoying it. But if I stay out in the sun any longer, my face is going to start turning red, and we don't want that. My face is red enough with all this fucking poison in my system. I don't need to be sunburnt at the same time. So it's going to take a few days. I know it's going to take a few days for my body to detox, for my skin to sort of flush everything out. You know, all this poison is going to come out through the skin, through the pores, and I'm going to feel and probably look like shit for a few days, but it only gets better. It only gets better from there. I've done it before, and I'm going to do it again. So, one drink led me to 4.5, we'll call it 5 months of relapse, a 5-month relapse. And just to run through briefly the story of how it happened, 30 days of sobriety all through January. 1st of February came, I experimented with a couple of drinks of Bailey's, then it went to 5, and then it went to 10, and then 15. Then I had a trip to Thailand booked, and I thought, you know, I'll drink for a couple of days, I'll pull it back, have a nice 2-week stint of sobriety prior to going to Thailand, go over there, do my Muay Thai training, have a great time, maybe smoke a little bit of weed, but certainly not drink, come back to Australia, crack into work, and, you know, that just didn't happen. The 2 drinks turned into 5, like I said, and I couldn't stop, and I didn't stop, and I drank all the way up to my trip to Thailand. I drank all the way through my trip to Thailand. I found myself 2 weeks through a 4-week trip, sitting on the side of the road, very similar to this, hungover, thinking, what the fuck are you doing, Jacob? Get your ass back to Australia, get your ass back to your kids, stop spending money when you should be earning it, and just try and sort out this alcohol issue. And I got back to Australia, I booked my ticket that night, left a couple of days later, got back to Australia, but got back into work, you know, full force. I'm not gonna lie, but I couldn't stop the drinking. And I didn't want to stop the drinking. I hadn't found that reason, that real reason. But now, and that, look, and that, you know, 3 months on, here we are. So I've set myself up for success. Alcohol's not going to bring me any closer to success. The goals I have at the moment would possibly happen still if I wasn't drinking, but I'm not going to enjoy the process at all. And what I desperately want is just to enjoy the process, to be positive, to be optimistic, to enjoy talking to people, to not feel as if I'm on struggle street every fucking day. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. It's such a cliche, but that's exactly how I'm feeling at the moment. And, you know, my want for a healthier, happier life is now slowly but surely outweighing my want for alcohol. And here we are, you know. So there was one period of time, just to add just a little caveat into that little story of the last 4.5 months, there was one period of time where I committed to an ultramarathon, and I thought, right, this is my ticket, you know, because I initially thought, oh, my Thailand trip's my ticket to stop drinking. I can smoke weed if I want, but I won't need to drink, and that didn't happen, of course. And you constantly tell yourself as an alcoholic or as an addict that, you know, this is going to be the reason, like geographical change or fucking a job change or a relationship change or, you know, whatever. There's going to be a million reasons that you'll tell yourself this is going to be the time, this is going to be the reason why I quit alcohol, but it never works. And a good one, this is a good one, sign up for an ultramarathon, okay? I did it when I was drunk. What happens to me is that I feel like Superman when I'm drunk. I feel like I can do anything, physically or mentally. And in this case, I went and paid $500 and signed up for the Westmax Monster 65-kilometer ultramarathon, trail ultramarathon. And forgot about it for a week, and then I got back to Australia and I thought, well, shit, all right, I've got 60 days to get ready. And I did. And I trained and I ran. I ran probably 3 or 4 times a week for 8 weeks leading up to that race. And I'd have a couple of days of sobriety, and I'd feel like my performance out on the pavement would get better. I'd get more consistent, I'd get fitter, and then unfortunately I'd get led back to the bottle and I'd have another few days on the piss, and I'd try to fucking keep training, but I just couldn't do it. And then I'd be like, well shit, another week's gone by, we're another week closer. And I was blogging all this on my Facebook and Instagram page as well. So if anyone wants to go and check out the progress during the 60 days towards that race, they can. But yeah, I simply could not fucking stop drinking for any length of time. 2 days maximum is all I could do. And then I'd go back drinking. And unbelievably, and this will be the last thing I say, unbelievably, I fucking ran that race having 1 day of sobriety. In the end, all I could do is reduce the amount of drinking to about 8 to 9 standard drinks for the 3 days prior to the race. And on the night before the race, I didn't have anything to drink. I woke up that day, I went and ran 65 kilometers along the Larapinta Trail. I finished the race in 18th place out of 75 runners. Super proud of my performance. And what did I do after that? What did I do once I finished? I went and bought a bottle of whiskey and drank half of it that night. It's fucked up. It's absolutely fucked up. It's the first and last time I'll tell that story, but that is the story of how an alcoholic ran an ultramarathon successfully, I'd say. But all I can think of is what I could have done, how well I could have done, what my potential could be if I was to remove alcohol completely. You know, I know now that I've got a fucking strong mindset. Doesn't matter how hungover I am. If I want to do something, if I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And I'm proud of that. But you know, how much better could I be without the alcohol? It's that self-sabotage. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know if I'm afraid of success. I don't know if I'm, you know, I don't know. There's a lot going on. Hopefully I've talked coherently enough. I feel pretty anxious at the moment. I'm not going to lie, like knowing that I don't have my drinks tonight. I feel pretty anxious, a little wired, but that's to be expected. And yeah, is what it is, man. I'm glad I made this video. One drink led me to a 5-month relapse, but we've called it here. It's got to happen. It's going to happen. I'm going to go to the supermarket now, get me some nice food, watch a game of footy, lay my head on the pillow at 9 o'clock after working 75 hours this week. We've achieved a lot. It's been a hectic 5 months of relapse, but it's not as if I've been sitting at home unemployed doing fuck all, because that would be even worse. And that is probably the only reason why I can still actually have some positivity about me, is because, look, I may have drunk every single night, pretty much. I may have fucking let myself down in that respect. But hey, I ran an ultramarathon. I've been a present dad as best I can, been spending as much time with my kids as possible, and I've been working a hell of a lot and earning a decent income. So, you know, there's been some negatives, but there's been some positives, and I'm gonna, you know, hold on to those positives and keep them at the forefront of my mind, rather than all the regrets that I might have. So that's me. I've got plans on vlogging tomorrow, my entire day, as much as I can, and I'm gonna title it "A Day in the Life of an Alcoholic, Desperate to Stay Sober." So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you then.